Alright, though, so basically, Washington is done with free agents. We're probably gonna, pepper in some here and there, whatever. Nothing really is gonna be like really major because we got Witherspoon, who's a good depth piece, but I guess you know what I mean. Major meaning the Ayuk signing and or Jawan Jennings if they really did get tired of that whole messy divorce that's happening over there in San Fran. But I digress. The whole purpose of this is what the hell is Washington's draft strategy? You feel me? So that's what we're about to talk about because we can pretty much go anywhere. Thank God for that. But like, yeah, let's see exactly, or at least predict what exactly they're going to do draft-wise. With that being said, let's go. All right, let's talk about defense-wise, right? Honestly, even though with the whole overhaul and the redesign, the revamping of the whole defense, because basically you need to add as much weapons and good quality players to the defense for a first-time NFL defensive coordinator, because he was a coordinator at LSU, but where exactly does that leave us to target in a draft, right? Because we can go this a multitude of ways. You can start on the D-line, because yes, even though we got Odafe Owe, Charles Omenihu, Tim Saddleback, Cleveon Chason, we still have Dorrance Armstrong coming back from injury, Javon Jean-Baptiste, which he probably not even gonna make this team. We still have Deron Payne, we still have Johnny Newton, everything like that. The whole D-line pretty much is going to be solid. I'm not going to say over the top great, but it's still solid now. The only problem is you run into an issue with the edge rusher room. What I mean by that, after this season, if they don't decide to extend like Dorrance Armstrong or Cleveon Chason in the middle of the season or anything like that, it's just going to be only Odafe Owe the entire time. Like, he's our only guy after this season on contract for this team. So, edge rusher should be something we look at. Like, legitly, you gotta somewhat look back there. And on top of that, right, it should honestly just be David Bailey, because it gives you that enough juice. Because even though there are some questions about him and his run defending, and he looks like he could be just a designated pass rusher, he brings the juice off the line. He brings the speed, and especially for a division that we play in where basically all mobile quarterbacks, like you have Jackson Dart, who's willing to run. You have Jalen Hurts, who is a runner, and Dak, he can run too if he needs to run. You're going to need somebody who's going to get back there. I'm not saying Odafe always is slow, but he definitely needs, a Robin over there, and David Bailey is something that we definitely could look into. Ruben Bain, he's cool and on, and all. Everybody wants to get on him like for his T-Rex arms or whatever. Yeah, everybody wants to say shit about that. But tape-wise, he still is probably the most productive one out of the two, because he shows up in big games. He shows up when the team needs it. He can definitely set the edge better than David Bailey. And in terms of, having that incredible bend around the corner when he comes to pass rush, I wouldn't be mad at it too. I just wouldn't, I don't know. I would trade back, if anything, to go get Ruben Bain, but at the 7th spot, I wouldn't. I would still take the upside of David Bailey just because I think he's a better pass rusher overall. But you still have to look at towards the edge. Because, again, we are going to put ourselves back in the same predicament that we're going to need more edge rushers at the end of the season because we failed to do that last offseason. So that's why. But edge rushers should definitely be somewhat on the top of the list, if not the top of the list. But yeah, edge rusher definitely needs to be looked at first. Next is the linebacker core. I want to say this is one that you shouldn't prioritize as much. I mean, yeah, we revamped it a little bit, and we still do have a lot of question marks just because the old coaching regime didn't really believe in playing younger players for some odd reason. I don't know, because now we have no idea about Kane Madrano. Jordan McGee's got great speed. He can tackle his ass off, but he has uncontrolled speed. Like, he's still got to work out the kinks, because at times they'll, pepper him into the lineup, and then other times they'll only get like 10 snaps, which is fucking unacceptable. So we really don't know anything about him. He is a bunch of question marks. So that brings up the linebacker prospects, Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles. With Sonny Styles, he's a converted safety into a linebacker, and you can see it. Has incredible fucking speed, sideline to sideline speed, for sure tackler. First of all, for someone who has limited years at middle linebacker and he's already moving like a season in middle linebacker, calling up plays, being the eye of the sky, the quarterback of the defense, that's something we could consider. Because, like it or not, Bobby was our quarterback on defense. He was very intelligent. He was a good run stopper. He was a good, thumper. He's a good tackler, but he just was a, liability in coverage. And when you add someone like Sonny Styles, who has experience and has the speed to, to defend niggas in coverage, take it. Take it. He's like a 6'5", 250, 240 linebacker. You don't see those every day, especially someone who's moving like him. And I know people are going to probably say, like, it's an Isaiah Simmons situation. Absolutely not. Isaiah Simmons was like moving all over the defense in terms of when he's playing out there in Clemson. This is something completely different. Sonny Styles is legitimately just strictly playing middle linebacker, and he excelled damn well at it. So I wouldn't be mad if we take Sonny Styles at 7. I really wouldn't. You add extra juice, especially you pair him up with Leo Chenal, who also showed that he's an excellent run defender, and he can cover somebody, because everybody knows that one play where he defended, Mark Andrews 20 yards down the field and still picked off, Lamar Jackson. Add 2 of them, and then you got the arguably the fastest and freakiest athletes, linebacker core, with pairing up with Frankie. Then you have Sonny, then you have Leo, and then you have Jordan McGee, and then, the rest behind them. You feel me? That would be crazy. That would legit be fucking crazy. I wouldn't be mad at that. Then on the other side of the linebacker prospect, you have Arvell Reese, who would be your project piece because they would not know what to do with him. He'll be your chess piece. He'll be your Micah Parsons, like early Micah Parsons in his career, because they see him as an edge rusher, or they see him as an off-ball linebacker, which, again, that is a good thing and a bad thing. One way or another, he's got to convert to one or the other, not both. But you can put him anywhere. And someone, like that in this, assumed Durante Jones defense, where it's going to basically somewhat mirror Brian Flores' adaptable, like, exotic blitzes, exotic looks, design defenses where anybody can be going at you. You have like 6 players on the line and then bail out the last second and shit like that. You need someone like that. Arvell Reese will give you basically your disguise. He'd be your chess piece. If you want to disguise him down there, look like he's about to, rush off the edge and then bail out the last second, he can do that. Or if he's coming off as an off-ball linebacker and just straight blitzing up there, or just covering, doing anything in coverage, you got that. He's shown that he can do it at Ohio State. Basically, all of them shown that they can adapt to any defense at this point. But that would particularly look pretty well, or assuming look like it would look pretty well in Durante Jones' defense. So I wouldn't be mad at that, but I highly doubt he even reaches 7. But again, I wouldn't be mad at that choice or any of those choices at all. Now, let's see. What should we consider at secondary? Should we consider that? Yes, absolutely. I know a lot of people are probably going to be thinking, no, that's probably like a luxury. No. It's not a luxury pick. You still got to consider secondary at the same time. We were horrendous back there all last season. On top of that, the safety room is getting slowly changed by the minute because we have Nick Cross in there. And then your others who are still up for debate. I mean, Will Harris is going to be there. And same with Jeremy Reeves, because that's your special teams demon. But then with Quan Martin playing horrendously last season, with 2 healthy shoulders, he's probably on the chopping block. And same thing with Tyler Owens, even though he's a good special teamer, he really doesn't bring any value to defense because he's underutilized. They refuse to play the young kid. They refuse to see what he got, what type of talent he has back there. But he might be on the chopping block. I ain't gonna hold you. He might be up there. So Caleb Downs would for sure come in there and be a crazy pair with Nick Cross, because a lot of times people put Caleb Downs in a boxes where like, oh, he's just a box safety. He can only just do that, just playing in the box. Crazy work. Go back and watch tape. Homeboy can fly, and I mean fly. Yes, most of his tackles came down when he's playing down in the box, but at least he's a for sure fucking tackler. Let's just get that out of the way. We ain't got to worry about that mess anymore. But he also has the range to play free safety. He's done it plenty of times. 1,000 snaps and no, TD was, scored on him. Granted, most of the time, mostly those stats go to the, the corner. But still, that means he can still line up man on man on any would tight end or anything like that. And I get it. He's only 6 foot 205. I get it. His measurements doesn't jump off the page for people to oh, he's nothing really special. But yes, this kid can ball. This is a football player. This nigga knows what he wants and what he's disciplined to the T when it comes to playing safety. He will be a field general out there. Every time he stepped on the field on college, he's shown that he was the guy. As a freshman, All-American. When he went to Ohio State, is a shutdown DB back there. He's a shutdown guy, and he got some special team, experience back there. So we can use. I'm highly doubt we use him unless it's like emergency use, but I would consider Caleb Downs. That's like your number 2 option on your draft board. At least for me, that's like the number 2 guy. I ain't even gonna hold you. He should be up there in terms of who you need to, maybe consider taking that 7. And the other is Manson Delane. A lot of people overlooked him. They did. I'm not trying to be biased because I'm a Virginia Tech fan, even though I know he's not a Hokies anymore, but he'll always be a Hokies in my heart. But a lot of people overlooking him and talking about just, Gerard McCord. Even though Gerard McCord is a fucking dog, put on his 2024 film, that nigga's like that. But Manson Delane is also like that. Everybody doubted him since he was at Virginia Tech because the ACC is weaker than the SEC. I will say that it is. But you should see him. His film jumps off. He is the shutdown corner. The shutdown corner in this draft. Homeboy had quarterbacks shook to even look his way over there. 35 targets, and he only allowed 14 catches. 14. No TDs, just only 14 catches. Who else in that draft was saying that shit? Manson Delane has proven that he can also play in man excellently. Elite at man. And he's also elite in zone. Perfect for this presumed Durante Jones adaptable defense out there. So, whether y'all like it or not, whether y'all be like, oh, we can't take a corner at 7, look at it. Look at the corner situation. Who was our corner? Witherspoon's your damn death guy. Is a 6'3" older corner. He's been in for 10 years. You need that old vet in there to help out. Then you got Meek Robinson, who's the same as Mikey. Then you have Mikey. They're basically two short corners who can play out and inside. But some say they both excel more on the outside, which they're probably considered putting them on the outside. Which then we have other conversations to have. Then you have Trey Amos, who's your legit your only boundary corner for right now. Manson Delane should be heavily in conversations right there on the big board, like your draft big board. Especially if y'all decide to trade back, which I will only trade back to like the 10 spot. That will be the guy. That will 100% be the fucking guy. For me, Manson Delane is like in my top 5 on my big board. I ain't gonna hold you. I love Manson Delane. He's definitely been a shutdown guy. If we would have been any further back in the draft, that should have been our number 1 guy on our draft board. But since we're sitting at 7, we pretty much can go anywhere now, right? Right. So, with that being said, let's talk about the offense. Now, the offense is going to be a little bit quicker because we did a few things, and I'm not saying, we're pretty much covered, but we're covered tight end wise. Center wise, I'm a little bit scared. So, I mean, eventually you go down the line, maybe the 5th round to go get a center. Yes, please. But we already know the number 1 guy probably on the draft board is fucking Jeremiah Love. He is a luxury pick, but he is a damn good luxury pick to have. You feel me? Show up that backfield back there, having Bill and Love back there. You have your 1-2 punch. Love has shown that he's, he can do it all for the most part. As long as you have the added pieces around him, he will do well. At least from my speculations, he will do well. Jeremiah Love obviously wants to play with Jaden Daniels. I wouldn't be mad at taking him at 7 because, again, fuck it, add more weapons for Jaden Daniels. Make sure we don't put him in that Superman, position ever again, because that was awful. And then people want to call him injury prone, but they never said the same shit about, Joe Burrow. But I digress. Next on that is Cardinal Tate. Now, Cardinal Tate is your wide receiver 2 for sure. He will be the Robin to Terry McLaurin's Batman, which this organization has failed to put a Robin back there outside of Debo his entire career here. And people will say, no, he can't handle the press coverage. He can't do anything like that. That's teachable. That's coachable. Let him learn to get off the press. Because I know he played with Jeremiah Smith where a lot of teams decide to play zone because you want to cover him one-on-one. That's crazy as fuck. And then you want to turn around and cover, Cardinal Tate one-on-one. Again, that's crazy. So, yeah, he would be the certified Robin, and your number 1, your number 2, but he'll eventually learn to grow to your potential number 1. That's what people don't understand. You might as well learn to do that shit, and he will be a good fit. He's a good route runner. He's got the size of it, so if you have one-on-one, he can at least ease up the pressure on Terry McLaurin. We need someone like that. We need an upside to help Terry out on the other side that they fail to do every single time. And speaking of another wide receiver who do that is Mekhi Lemon. Call it what you wanted. Mekhi Lemon, being a slot guy, he's still a yak monster. I think he'd probably be the instant upgrade, or at least the immediate impact player if we drafted him, which they wouldn't do it at 7. A slot guy at 7 is crazy. But go look at his tape. Homeboy's a yak monster, either where he blows by you or he runs over you. He can do it all, and he instantly would be a major help. Not only would you have Chigga Conquo down there, you would have, what is it called? Mekhi Lemon giving the fucking hell out there running from the slot. Regardless, you got to think about wide receiver at 7. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The wide receiver room is a little bit like lackluster outside of Terry. It was definitely better than what we had last season, but you still got to give Jaden some weapons, because y'all have failed Jaden and Terry to help them out in terms of, you know, having somebody on the outside that can, you know, help them get open and shit like that. Because Diami is an inconsistent wide receiver too. Debo was okay, I guess. He was pretty decent. I wouldn't mind him. Brandon Ayuk hasn't played football in 2 years, and then after that, you name it. Luke McCaffrey, he was a good wide receiver 3 until he got hurt. Jalen Lane still got to work on some fundamental catching aspects of it, even though I still believe in him because he's a Hokies. But he also played with like a shitty quarterback at Virginia Tech. It is what it is. But I believe in him. He just got to work on his hands. But you need to consider wide receiver. Straight up. Like, y'all can't just sit there and look at this, you know, wide receiver room. We're fine. No, we're not fine. We're anywhere but fine. I still think they're going to take a wide receiver at 1 or 2. Not 1, but at 1. And in the first round or the third round, but regardless, you still gotta consider that shit though. But if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a comment, subscribe, and share about it, you know, and comment down below what should be the draft strategy. I do think you should probably lean towards the defensive wise, so you don't ever make that mistake again of like looking like the fucking retirement home of defenses ever again. But I wouldn't ignore the fact of like putting a piece around Jaden. I think you have enough pieces over there in the on defense now, front free agency alone, to where you don't gotta ever worry about it again for a while. But you definitely should add more pieces around Jaden, whether that's in 71 or with the first pick. Either get him a wide receiver 2, get him another running back like Jeremiah Love, or just get him another wide receiver down the line. But you have to consider it. There's no more ifs, ands, or buts. You gotta stop failing them. Straight up. It is what it is. But make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with it. It's your boy Easy. Till next time, y'all.